Welcome everybody to our Emerging Technologies and Creativity Research Lab 2019 Speaker Series. First up, we have Dr. Susan Stansberry, who is the founder of this wonderful space, and she's going to be kicking off our conversation on cross-cultural, international understanding of what creativity and emerging technology research looks like. So,
thank you, Dr. Acino. I'm so excited to be here today. This space, we call it the Emerging Technologies and Creativity Research Lab, and it had been a big dream of mine for years. I want to talk a little bit about who's in here, because that's what makes this place so important, are the people who are in here. We have some doctoral students. We have some people who work in instructional technology support. We have some undergrad students. And that's what we like in this place. We have other faculty too. Sorry, I forgot you. That's what makes this place so special, is a gathering place that people from lots of different disciplines, different levels, different interests can come together and think in creative ways in a creative space. And that was the impetus for taking this room. It was a traditional classroom, and we turned it into this creative space. I've called it an informal learning space at different times, and that's only partially true. Sometimes very formal learning takes place in this space, and that's important to acknowledge as well. We've called it a transformative space because we want people to be transformed by whatever they're doing in this space. We like them to walk in with some idea or problem or challenge and walk out with creative ways and new perspectives at looking at that same challenge or problem. So we've had all different kinds of interactions happen in this space. I've heard people refer to this as the place I think the best. And I love that description, because if you can design a space for quality of interaction and quality of thinking, then you can make a difference wherever you are. Whether we've got some future teachers behind us who are going to end up in maybe a third grade classroom or a high school classroom, maybe a library. But if you can take that space and make it somewhere people want to be, somewhere people feel free to play and feel free to fail, I think that's the most important space you can create, because then they can leave their inhibitions at the door, come in, not be taught, not be handheld, but be urged to think in creative ways, be urged to be more curious, feel free to try new things. That's when you really see transformative learning. And that's what this place started as and what it was all about. We've seen that. One of my favorite moments was we had a research team on curiosity here, and it was very diverse disciplines and people at different stages. And an undergraduate student happened to be working on something in here at the same time. And she looked over at us and she said, "Can I get on this team? Can I be on this team?" And that was a very important piece of growth for us, I would say, for this space, because it really showed the commitment to, it doesn't matter what level you're at or who you are or what you're interested in. This is a space that can help you further your ideas. I think one of the best technologies we put in here, and the cheapest by far, was the glass on the walls. The glass allows us for anyone to come in and write on the walls and leave a question, leave an idea. I particularly have seen some success with a faculty member who came and wrote an idea. I'm wanting to do this with a social media, combining social media and reading interest of children's literature. We had another faculty member who's actually here in the room who came in and said, "I know how to do that. I've worked with that." And so those two got together and were able to produce research together. That's another goal of this room, is to make the connections between an idea that a student has. It may be about their assignment, and this is a great place to come to say, "Hey, I've got this assignment I know you're not a faculty member of my area, or you may be a PhD student, or you may be an undergrad student in another area. What ideas do you have? And that's what we tried to create, is a place that people could come and do that kind of process and that kind of activity. The emerging technologies we have, I think, help facilitate some of those conversations. Can I take that camera and show it around?
Sure.
Are they seeing the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not seeing the screen?
No.
Okay. I give you a little bit of sickness, but over here, some of the important emerging technologies that we've used heavily in this space that we're learning all the time, the different applications of these emerging technologies. You're seeing the telepresence robots right now, and they have been a great benefit when we've had students who maybe were homebound because of a sickness. I had a student personally, an elementary ed student, who had contracted a disease and was going to have to quit for the entire semester, and she was able to finish the entire spring semester that year. She was in a hospital bed a lot of the time on her phone connecting to the telepresence robot, and still came to class. And that was a really important connection. I would love to see, there's all these times in different schools when I know in local middle school, we had a student who was going through cancer treatment, and having a tool like a telepresence robot, it's basically an iPad, but it gives you such a sense of presence that you can drive yourself around and feel like you're still at the school. I think that's an important tool. You're seeing, I'm sorry, we just went past a cabinet that has lots of different mobile devices that people can try out. And that was important for this space, to have a place where people can, thank you, David, that people can come and try different things and experience it and see if that's something they might want to implement. We don't want things in this emerging technologies and creativity research lab that are deployable across an entire campus right now. We want the next thing. And we want you guys who are going out to a school or to business or industry to know what's coming next, so you can walk in as a leader in your job. Rachel, wave your hand back there. Behind Rachel, we have an EEG machine, and that's been fun to do human-computer interaction research on, to really test physical reactions to certain technologies. I loved one of our students who was measuring the difference in student testing on an actual desktop computer versus an iPad, because that's happening in a lot of elementary schools, as the testing is done on a desktop with a computer with kids who have no keyboarding skills. And that makes a huge difference in testing. So I love the research that we've had coming out of that. We have a 3D printing center back here, a 3D scanning and printers back here. And to me, it's fun to find something and print out a thing in 3D, but it's a whole nother level to think in 4 dimensions and design something in CAD software and then print out your design and prototype. We have a large grant with NASA that we work with high schools who have designed and prototyped over 1,000 items that are actually sitting on the International Space Station right now. And it all starts with design thinking, prototyping with cheap 3D printers, and I use the term cheap relative, but something that organizations could get on a grant, that level of cheap. And so that's been an important transformative experience seeing in here too. You really want to see my head, don't you? Over here we have an Xbox One, and that one's been, going with the theme of play. This has been a long time coming, this space, and it all sort of originated when I was director of technology. I came from a K-12 school that had, it was early 90s, and we had a video production studio, and we were beta testing PlayStation software with kids kindergarten through 3rd grade, and we were sending them home with a PlayStation. And and testing out new software. And it was just an amazing place to teach in a K-12 school that was able to find these resources and teach well with these resources. And so I came from that environment to director of technology here for the College of Education then, and encountered faculty who didn't really understand what email was. And this was 1997. And so this space has been a dream of mine, to get faculty in here playing and students in here playing and everybody playing together with these things and see where it might go. There's good research on interactivity, on interrupting your day with some physical activity. And we've seen that happen with the Xbox One, with staff who will take a 10-minute break and come in and play Dance Revolution. What is it? Is that called Just Dance? I don't remember what it's called. Some dance video game. We also teach a course in digital games and simulations, and actually using them for learning. And that's been an important focus on research here too. There's a treadmill desk over here. I don't think I can do it. Our treadmill desk, it's difficult to see here, but that's another emerging technology that's related to health research that we do. My favorite application of the treadmill desk was an undergraduate student who he designed his own experiment, his own action research on whether he made better grades when he studied on a treadmill desk versus at home, specifically on the couch in a certain position. It was hilarious. But just seeing an undergrad undertake a really valuable research topic that could turn into an important finding. Like you guys who are in elementary, there's lots of experimentation in elementaries now, having students sit on exercise balls or standing desk or the bike wheels underneath the desk. And that's important research. And to have undergraduate students and everybody come in here and be a part of that kind of environment is extremely important to us. We do have a hot seat flight simulator. I don't think I can show you. Well, you can look at it on the web. All of our emerging technologies are detailed on our website. And we would love to have you interact with any of the technologies. The one I can't show you here that we've used extensively with our teacher ed program in particular, but it's also important for use in healthcare systems, business, industry, is Immersion, formerly called Teach Live, but it's immersion mixed reality environment where you can interact with computer-based avatar humans, and in different settings. There's a healthcare setting, a business setting, a hospitality setting, and a classroom setting. And some of our students back here have actually taught the computer avatar students a lesson and gotten interaction with a classroom before they actually go out there. One of our students who spent time on this said that experience in the mixed reality simulator was taught that person more than 60 hours of observation in classroom when she was just sitting there watching. And so we've had some important research on that as well that shows its effectiveness. We have used the adult business setting to have students interact as if it were a parent-teacher conference, and that's been an important application as well. So anyway, the whole point of this place is a space to have people come and play and explore ideas and explore creative solutions and do interactive, collaborative research and just have a lot of fun in this space. And that's what we think learning should be, is learning should be fun. It should be transformative. It should be the freedom to fail, and that's when we do learn. And so creating an environment that facilitates all those activities is what we set out to do here and what we hope we're doing here. We would love to collaborate with anyone around the world. My big dream is we'd see spaces like this, not only in K-12 schools and in universities, but we would see spaces like this where ideas can germinate and grow in businesses, and we see some people doing this and valuing creative time and think time, and that's what this kind of space can do, and that's what it's done for us. Does anybody in the room have questions? You want to know more? Anybody motivated to go create a space like this in your school? Or okay, good. That's what we want. That's all I've got, but if you will post questions to the Facebook, we would love to interact with you and answer questions or help you out in any way we can. Dr. Sino?
Thank you very much, Dr. Stansbury. And we will be having these sessions every last Wednesday of the month. So we look forward to seeing you in April.
Thank you.
Thank you.